This episode of Sideline Warning is brought to you by Roosport, makers of the original magnetic running pouch. Whether you're biking, running, hiking, or even traveling, the Roosport clips to your waistband with magnets for an easy, convenient way to carry what you need without the bulk of belts or bags. Visit theroosport.com and use the code SIDELINE30, all lowercase, for 30% off their entire product line. Again, that's theroosport.com, promo code SIDELINE30. And now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sideline Warning, the show where sports takes are sure to go way too far into the field. Here to recap this week's biggest and best sports stories are your hosts, Dave Adams, Ben Foster, and Adam Russell.
Everybody, welcome into Sideline Warning episode 46. As always, you've got the one, the only, the golden voice of the Southeast coming to you live and in living color from Harvest, Alabama, Dave Adams. How are y'all doing? I'm doing great. Did y'all survive the weekend? Because most of the top five in college football did not. But let's see if my friends survived and my co-host survived. All the way from Birmingham, Alabama, the one, the only, Hollywood Ben Foster. What's going on, Hollywood?
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
It's going. Did you make it through Austin? Okay. I saw your videos and everything. You saw Sir Paul McCartney.
I saw Sir Paul McCartney. I saw my good friend Matthew McConaughey. It was a good weekend.
All right.
That's the thing about going to music festivals. I keep getting older, but Matthew McConaughey stays the same age.
Oh my gosh. Dazed and Confused reference number one. I'm surprised that you were there and not watching the Alabama-Missouri game, but I'm also more surprised that McConaughey wasn't watching the Texas game.
Well, I saw McConaughey at the McCartney concert on Friday night, so it's possible he was at the Texas game the next afternoon.
Okay. All right. Well, it's not just you and I this week. We did bring up our other friend all the way from the state of Florida, the land of Nod, Sleepy Town, USA, Dreamville, St. Cloud, he's sleeping on a cloud, the mayor of Sleepy Town, Adam Russell.
Oh, that one's going to last a while, too, isn't it?
That's your nickname.
Oh, my gosh.
The golden voice of the Southeast, we've got Hollywood, and we've got the mayor of Sleepy Town. Did you get some good sleep last week, Adam?
Well, now hang on. So is my nickname the only one that's based in something that actually happened? Because Ben's not from California, and...
Well, okay, so let's back up. The story of Ben's nickname. If you ever walked around campus or anywhere with Ben, everyone in the world knows Ben Foster. So he's like Hollywood Ben Foster. And with this golden voice, of course I'm the golden voice of the Southeast. So we're all three based in reality for our nicknames. So
mine's the only one that's like a dig, so...
Well, no, you needed some sleep, and so you were the mayor of Sleepy Town.
I'm gonna be the mayor of us having a conversation after we're done recording.
So for everybody that listened last week, Adam kind of fell asleep. We do record later in the evening. It's a decent time for us in the Central Time Zone, but Adam is in Florida. He is in the Eastern Time Zone. He had just gone to Halloween Horror Nights, had stayed up all night, and he put his kids to bed, and I guess fell asleep on his son's bed. It's okay, Adam. We've all done it.
Yeah, just not on a recording night.
Yeah.
The amazing thing was we sent you over 100 text messages and about a half a dozen phone calls, and none of that woke you up. I guess you have a really good do not disturb feature on your phone, or
I didn't have my phone or my watch. So.
Oh,
sorry, guys.
Well, you didn't answer any of our phone calls, but I think we actually do have a voicemail that somebody left for you, Adam. So let's go ahead
on the Blitz line.
Let's go ahead and get to that call right here.
What up? This is Brian Key, host of the Field of View podcast. I have a shout out sideline warning to Adam Russell. Yeah, he decided to sleep in, sleep through I don't know. He wasn't there for the interview that Dave took the time to set up about NCAA football and video games. I don't know if he didn't get his nap in that day. I don't know. But I get it, Adam. You're a little, probably nervous because Dave did confess to me that I am his number one friend. I'm number one. You're probably, I don't know, bottom 5. Anyways, I get it. You think I came on the show to take your job? Look, dude, I didn't, okay? I'm a nice guy. I was just there to talk sports, but you decided to, I don't know, throw a wrench into everything, sabotage when I was on the show, so we had to do a pre-recorded interview. I get a chance to throw my sports knowledge out there to the world. I understand. You're nervous, but don't worry, man. I'm not gonna take your spot. I mean, we can be friends, I'm a friendly guy, and, we can all get along, but if that's not your cup of tea, man, then, hey, that's cool too. I will destroy you. So, stay classy out there, Adam.
Adam, do you care to retort?
That voice sounds familiar. Sounds like an angsty group of people that I know from somewhere.
Well, Brian, if you listened to last week's episode, Brian said that his neighbor was the city of Cleveland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He sounds a lot like him, though.
So he associates with Cleveland.
He does associate
with that. Then that whole voicemail means absolutely nothing to me. So I think we're done here.
So Brian has called in and dug on my 2 co-hosts, but he hasn't dug on me. I'm kind of proud. I hadn't.
Well, he just said he was your number one friend, so that must be why.
There's still time, Dave, and the phone line is always open. What's that number, Adam?
931-44 Blitz. Anyone, your friends, neighbors, relatives want to take a shot at the golden voice of the Southeast, please, by all means, leave a voicemail. Leave a dozen. We'll play all of them on the show.
All right, well, let's get into the sports. We are a sports talk show, not a variety talk show, which we could do it, but
yeah,
we need to get into the sports. Alabama played Missouri this weekend, and it wasn't the typical Alabama game we're used to seeing. It started off 2 plays in, Tua to Jerry Jeudy, 81 yards. I thought it was going to be another blowout. What happened? Why was this game such a down game?
I think because it was homecoming. I think as much as Saban preaches about having the team not be distracted, there's a lot of distractions with homecoming. Your routine's different. You have pep rallies to attend. You have all kinds of different events throughout the week. Everybody academically is in a different state of mind because they're running around doing homecoming activities instead of going to classes. The players are still supposedly supposed to go to class, but even then, things are just disruptive. There's a different chatter on campus. I just think homecoming week throws everybody off a little bit.
I disagree because homecoming week was kind of always a down week for me. It was always a fun week. It was always just here we are. We're celebrating our fun time on campus. I don't think so. And Missouri's not a great team, and they tested Alabama more than anyone on the schedule's tested them so far.
I just want to put it in perspective when I was at Alabama, and I think we overlapped a little bit in this regard, Dave, too, that when I was there, homecoming was, are we going to beat Louisiana Tech this year or not? That was when I was at Alabama.
That's very true.
Everybody just showing up because they played a song, enjoy the time that you live in because it wasn't always this much fun. But I don't know that I would say it was a, quote, down game. I mean, Tua had a fumble and Tua went down with an injury, and it just felt like the game was one of those games. I think about 2009 Alabama and South Carolina. Final score was 20-6, right?
Right.
And it was just we couldn't get anything really going. It didn't feel like anything clicked, but we still won. And I think this is the version of that for this year's team, right? I mean, the fumble, the injury, everything just felt kind of off. Everybody kept getting injured. And I think the more that happens in a game, when you see some of these names on the offense go down, it throws everybody off a little bit. And I think the game, had those injuries not happened, Tua would have stayed in a couple more drives. We would have scored 50. Everybody would have kind of shrugged their shoulders. But I think everybody was holding their collective breath for a period of time. And it kind of dominated the feel of the whole place, the whole game, to me at least. Because I don't know that it felt down until then. But that's just my perception.
It felt down to me in the second quarter, or even in the first quarter, when at the end of the first quarter, It's 13-10. I don't think we have been 13-10 with anybody at the end of the first quarter. But usually by the end of the first quarter, Alabama's got 30 points. And the offense wasn't moving the ball. The defense was actually, well, they hadn't stepped it up yet. Yeah. But at the end of the first quarter, it was kind of a hold your breath type moment. Now, granted, you look at the final score, you see Missouri didn't score or didn't do anything for the rest of the game. Alabama did score a safety. They did score 39 points. They did score 17 in the second quarter, but only 9 in the second half. So I understand where
that's your boy Jalen. Just saying.
I understand, but if it wasn't for the defense stepping up in this game, it would be a totally different subject. And you know how hard I've been on the defense this year. This was finally an Alabama defensive game that we've been waiting to see. Now, when is the Alabama defense and the Alabama offense going to both show up in the same game? My hope is going to be November 2nd. Or hopefully October 20th. Maybe both. But
yeah, I'd take the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Works for me.
Why is it that it seems like the Atlanta Braves, when the pitching is there, the hitting's off. When the hitting's there, the pitching is off. Why is it that Alabama, as good as they are, all the 5 stars that they've got, why is it that they seem to not be able to do a complete game against small-time ball? I don't know.
We have up until this point, though, haven't we? I mean, Louisville was that way, though. I would say Louisville was a complete game.
The defense wasn't great. Louisville was moving the ball.
But how did the rotation of players on the defensive side this week compare?
The first team stayed in for most of the game.
That's why. The first team had to stay in most of the game because the offense wasn't scoring as many points as we normally did. If we had scored 45 by halftime, you would have seen the second and third string, and Drew Lock would have found a way, especially if we continued to rush 3, but that's a whole other conversation. Missouri would have found a way to probably score 2 more touchdowns on our third string defense, and it would have been 52-24, and it would have been a normal look, and then we would have said, why was the offense so good when the defense allowed them to do? I think the defense had the best players on the field and held them, just like we would expect the best players to do, because we didn't have 50 before the half,
So therein lies the question. And I am not the type of person to question Nick Saban. He's been doing this for 40 years. I haven't been alive for 40 years. But when Alabama gets tested, and it seems like they're about to, because LSU just beat the number 1 team at the same play, or the number 2 team in the same place Alabama's going to go play them in 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, 2.5 weeks. When Alabama gets tested, will the offense be able to stand up to that testing? Because the offense hasn't put together a full 4 quarters with all of the ones on the field at the same time. We had to see the ones on the defense at the field at the same time, and they put it together. They shut Missouri down. Yep. But can the offense do what it has to do? Because they're not used to playing 60. We put our 4 fingers up in the air at the end of the third quarter. I don't think we have the right to do that this year because we haven't had to play 4. We're about to have to play 4. And I know this is a kind of a bad feeling, but at this point, even if it's against Tennessee, our rival, I say run the score up, keep our ones on the field, because the ones have to see what it's like to play a full 4 quarters.
I will replay that clip of what you just said when Tua sprains his knee again in the fourth quarter of the Tennessee game and is questionable for the LSU game.
Well,
you don't put guys on the field when you're up 40 points. You don't put your starting quarterback in when you're up 40 points just because he needs work.
What do you say we do then? Because, like I said,
you keep doing what you've been doing.
Okay, then what happens when we get tested in the fourth quarter in overtime? Tua won't know how to play it.
Tua played the fourth quarter of the national championship game.
I get your point, Dave. They have to see it. They have to see. The offensive line has to be out there. Like, everybody's got to make sure that they're ready. I don't question that whatsoever. I think, though, and we can wrap up this point, but I think we have to be very careful right now. The way that it felt and the feeling I had on Saturday was when Tua went down and his mama goes in the tent. when she was praying, I'm like, oh, we're good, right? Because it's Tua's mama, right? But when they're in the tent and it could possibly be something where they're having to make a very difficult decision for their child, they're with him. And luckily it turned out not to be that way. But didn't you kind of have that feeling that, oh my gosh, we're exposed now?
Yeah,
because like you said, we had 9 points the rest of the time. I'm a proponent of starting Jalen against Tennessee. And CJ's probably laughing right now. But I'm a proponent of saying until we need them, we don't put a first stringer in with a heavy brace, light brace, KT tape, biofreeze. I don't care if he needs anything for pain management. He doesn't take a step until the LSU game. I would be okay with that. We're only going to score 30 points, maybe 21. But to protect Tua, the guy stayed more than 4 games. He let go of that red shirt option that he had. He's full in this year, then let's use him. And only use the others when we have to.
What are you guys panicking for?
I'm not panicking. I just want it's an insurance.
You guys sound very panicked. Tua can start a game. Tua can start a game. He can play 4 quarters. I don't understand what the issue is. Even when Tua comes out of the game, Jalen is mostly playing with first-string offensive players. They're playing most of the game. The only person that's not really going 4 quarters is Tua. I get it. You swap out some of the wide receivers, but you have a wide receiver rotation anyway. That would be happening whether Tua was playing 4 quarters or not. So the idea that the offense can't go 4 quarters is absurd. And Dave, I know you weren't watching the Alabama basketball scrimmage last night. You were watching Monday Night Football. And on Monday Night Football, guess who the star, the highlight of halftime was? It was Van Pelt interviewing Tua. And what did Tua say? That was the question they threw at him. They said, hey, you haven't played 4 quarters. What happens when you have to? And Tua says, we practice all week like we're going to play 4 quarters. We're conditioned for it. We can do it. And the fact that he hasn't done it just means he's not banged up.
We talking practice?
We're talking about conditioning. We are talking about stellar athletes being conditioned to be even more stellar than they already are. Alabama has operated on a 4th quarter program for training their athletes to be able to play 4 quarters at top form ever since they lost to Florida and Urban Meyer in the SEC championship game in 2008. 10 years ago. And for 10 years, Alabama has been conditioning their players to play 4 quarters. Tua can definitely play 4 quarters if he has to.
I'm with you. I agree, Ben, but the top form thing is the thing. And I'm not panicking about 4 quarters. I'm panicking that we're going to put Tua in a position just to have him out there that we don't have to be in this week. It's Tennessee. I think we can handle them without him this week, and we give him a week off. And if we need him, throw him in. But
that's why there's a bye week before LSU, specifically to heal up for a potential big game with LSU. Tua is going to start the Tennessee game. Jalen is going to play in the Tennessee game, and everybody is going to come out of the game just fine, ready to play against LSU.
When Tua goes in, starts the Tennessee game, and he ends up wearing a heavier brace at the end of that game than he's wearing at the beginning of the game, you can file that up there with our punter recruiting for this year and the kicker recruiting for the last 5 years as to why the Bear will be the greatest. And even if Saban ties or surpasses him, it will never happen. It'll be the worst. It'll be the worst decisions he'd made since kicking the 1-second field goal against Auburn instead of taking that game into overtime.
Alabama made several field goals on Saturday. I thought you were going to be ready to say Saban's the greatest of all time now. No? That's simple.
I really wish that people could have seen that visual. So as soon as Adam made his point, he leans back in his chair. And Ben said that, and he kind of slowly leans up to his mic, says, no. I tend to agree with Adam on this. These are factors that have come up in the past 11 years under Nick Saban. Bear never had the issue that Bear had was he didn't recruit African-American players. The issue that Saban had is he doesn't recruit well in his wide receivers, or not his wide receiver, in his special teams.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't really know when to bring a quarterback out. That's been Alabama's problem throughout the centuries, a la Brody Crowell in Western Carolina. I'm afraid that this might be our Brody Crowell Western Carolina game. Now, I'm not going to say that we take it as far as Adam's saying. I say Tua starts the game, but 14-0, yank the man off the field. Bring in Jalen and Mac Jones. Bring in Baby Barker. I don't care.
That's what you want, Dave. You want Baby Barker in.
I want Baby Barker. Yes,
He's been angling for that all season. He's finally found a way to make it a reality.
Suit him up. We could beat Tennessee with one hand tied behind our back this year. And I mean, the best thing that could have happened for Alabama fan this week is for Tennessee to beat Auburn, because now Tennessee fans want to talk. And by the way, we're not going to do a sideline warning this week. We're just going to talk about hashtag Tennessee Hate Week, because if you want to see some fun, look at hashtag Tennessee Hate Week. And then if you really want to see some fun, look at hashtag Bama Hate Week and look at what Tennessee fans are saying, because they actually are alive now. They think they have a shot.
Do they know how to use Twitter?
Well, we'll get.
Are they coherent sentences?
Well, no.
I'm shocked.
I know, right?
So, Dave, let me appeal less to the sports podcast host and a little more to the fan in you.
Okay.
As we'll talk when we read those tweets, it's been quite a bit of time since Tennessee last beat Alabama.
We're correct.
How awesome would it be if instead of rolling out Tua, scoring 2 touchdowns, and then putting in Jalen, we played Jalen the whole game and still beat Tennessee?
We did that last year.
Then let's do it again.
We did that.
Why risk it? Why risk it? Why risk it?
Because
Give me one good reason why we should risk it.
I never thought I'd say this as an Alabama fan, but we're also angling for Tua to have a Heisman, and for him to not play this game would ruin his chance of a Heisman. The only reason I say that is because the one thing Auburn can hold over Alabama's head is we have 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Congratulations. If Tua wins this year, we've had 3 in 12 years. It took you 3 in 115 years. So the only reason I want that is I want every piece of Auburn's angling over what they're better than Alabama gone.
And you're concerned about having a Brody Kroll moment on the field?
Slightly. Yeah, I know. I know. Little both sides of my mouth here.
So, Ben, what is your reason?
You don't play football by saving your best players only for like a couple of big games. And by your logic, Adam, you should also be advocating that we take somebody like Mac Wilson and not start them, because he is as critical, if not more critical to the defense than Tua is to the offense. And you're not talking about taking key players off the defense and protecting them in the Tennessee game. So why wouldn't you make that argument for anybody else? Why just Tua?
Was Mac in the tent on Saturday?
No, but all these guys have played 8 weeks. These guys have played for 8 weeks. They're all banged up. They've all got bumps and bruises and things that hurt. I can't help that Tua's mother overreacts.
No. So here, let's dissect that. They don't just let anybody come down to the tent. The athletic trainers
only helicopter moms.
Well,
the only let's be perfectly honest. The only reason Tua's mom was allowed in the tent is because she's also the mother of Tua's brother, who is not yet on campus in a crimson jersey.
But it was more than just Tua's mom. It was Tua's mom and dad. Both of them were in the tent.
The tent's not that big. You can't fit that many people in the tent.
They were there.
They were both in there. They were both in there.
And the only reason his parents were allowed in there is because he is getting special treatment, and they're ensuring that the parents stay happy, so that way Tua's brother also comes to Alabama.
So let me ask you this: when Mac Wilson has to sit out for a minute to rest, right? And there's maybe a series or two where he's not in every play, does the defense just all of a sudden let the other team put points on the board?
Yeah. Did you watch the A&M game?
Did
you watch the Did you watch the Texas A&M game? When
not him being in.
They had second string guys on defense in there with Mac Wilson on the field, and it was fine. And in A&M, and also I believe it was the Louisiana game, as soon as Mac Wilson comes out, the defense gives up points.
With second stringers.
With second stringers and with first stringers.
If you take our first string defense and the only piece you take out is Mac Wilson, everybody can score on us. Because if you take our first string offense and the only thing you replace is Tua with Jalen, we don't score.
Alabama can definitely score with Jalen, especially against Tennessee. That's what you're saying.
We'd have to score. Yeah, Adam, I don't follow that logic because with your logic, it would be 0-0 if Jalen starts.
What do you mean? It'd be 0-0 if Jalen starts.
Well, because you say we can't score with Jalen on the field. So why
Yeah,
start
that's
him?
exactly what we've been
Right.
talking about all
So
season.
why start him against Tennessee if we can't score?
Because you guys are using the logic that says we could beat him one hand tied behind our back. Is
we
that
could.
not? Well, so then what's the problem?
Because you say we can't score with Jalen.
So you guys say we can.
Okay.
My head
All
hurts. I am so.
We can. We've
We've thrown logic out the window at this point.
We all agree. We all agree that Tennessee's bad enough where Jalen could score. I totally agree with that. What I'm saying is that the impact of losing a Tua for the rest of the season, because we keep our best players in the game against a team like Tennessee, we all agree that Jalen could beat Tennessee. Like you said, Dave, he's done it 2 years in a row. There's nothing drastically different about this team than the previous 2 years. Drastically different, right? But I'm not talking this game. I'm talking LSU. And if 2 weeks from now the sprain is bad enough where he's not playing at 100% against LSU and Jalen ends up being in the game, that destroys our offense against a defense like LSU. Whereas, and Ben, I was just speaking of the fact that you said if you have a Mack Wilson, don't protect him. Mack Wilson doesn't have a knee sprain. And if you take Mack Wilson out, it would impact our defense, but it doesn't hamstring our defense to the level that it hamstrings losing Tua. Because we all had that feeling. We all had that feeling on Saturday that, oh, crap, the season's over.
And
if
then,
they're all going.
And then Saban came out and said Tua was fine. He could have played the game.
Hold up.
If he needed to.
Okay.
That's what
Saban,
he wants. He wants everybody to have to prepare for Tua.
Yeah.
Regardless
Saban can
of
also
the
say,
situation.
Saban could come out there and say the sea is red, and could say it with 100% accuracy,
crimson.
thinking that that he could come out and say the sky is red, and could say that with coach speak and making you think that the sky is actually red. So don't think for 100% that Saban is telling you 100% the truth.
Well, and why do we even have a tent to hide people's medical processes if then we're going to go into a press conference and then tell everybody every specific about a 20-year-old's medical issues? I mean, we're not going to be completely honest. Federal law prohibits us from doing that anyway. We can't go talk about people's medical problems in the public sphere when it's their private information. But for me, it is more impactful if we lost Tua than it would be anybody else at this point with the way our team is playing. And I don't see the point. But I mean, we'll see how Saturday plays out, guys. You guys will be recording on Tuesday, and you'll see, it was fine. And I'll say, I know. I'm awake, and you guys are right.
I'm glad.
So I know how this is going to play out.
I'm glad you're with us then.
I will say
I knew you'd see it my way.
I will say this. Saban coming out and say he was fine, he can go back, he could have gone back in the game. I don't know about you, but when the cameras found Tua out of the tent and they had the huge wrap on his knee, there's no way that man could have gone back in the game.
He seemed pretty giddy too. I was texting with you about it, Dave. I think they had him on some pretty good stuff.
They did.
He seemed pretty loopy.
I will quote Funny Mane right here. Wrap that man up in bubble wrap and get him to the locker room.
Don't even fly him to Knoxville, dadgummit. I don't even want him on a bus or a plane. He needs to be playing Madden all weekend long instead of even being near a football field. So,
see, that's okay. So here's my devil's advocate for your point, Adam. Playing quarterback is just like pitching in baseball. When you get out of a rhythm, it's hard to get back into said rhythm. So if we gave Tua 3 weeks off, it's out of his rhythm. So what's your argument for keeping him in rhythm if you don't want him anywhere near the football field?
How much time was there between the national championship game and the Louisville game, and everything seemed to be pretty good then?
He got hurt.
I don't say keep him. See, you let him play. Look what happens. No, but for me, I think that you keep him involved. You keep him in practice. I just don't see the point at full speed against a team because Missouri was out, and you guys saw the video. Missouri was out to hurt some of our guys. I mean, they were physically trying to alligator roll and stuff and hurt our guys. So Tennessee's only going to be more aggressive than Missouri would be because this is a rivalry game.
I disagree with that.
Now, whether or not they have the ability to hurt us is different, but I think that their mindset is going to be, let's take it to them. And I don't think it's worth it.
I disagree with that mindset because while these kids, to some of these Tennessee kids, it's not a rivalry because a lot of these kids have never seen Alabama lose to Tennessee. Because let's face it.
But all the more reason, wouldn't you want to be the first one?
Yeah, but Jeremy Pruitt coached these Alabama defenders. He's not going to teach his team to go in there and play dirty. Let's be honest.
I don't think that Pruitt will encourage it, and I don't think that Pruitt would say, yank on Riggs' ankle when you're on the ground like that one guy was. I don't think I'm saying that. I'm just saying that with it being a more emotional type of game, whether or not they've ever seen Alabama lose or not, I think they'll want to be the first, and I think they're going to bring a little bit more than they might to Vanderbilt or somebody like that. And if he was fine, if he wasn't in a brace all game, if we didn't see it get worse, and we saw him play a whole game in a brace, I'd say, okay, but we saw it get worse on Saturday, regardless of whatever they said. And we'll have to let the results play out. That's the only way I'm gonna concede that. But
I'm not worried about Pruitt. I'm not worried about Pruitt getting Tennessee players to play dirty. I'm worried about a certain athletic director who likes to invite himself to practices and who is the originator of why they low down, they dirty, they some snitches.
They some snitches.
I don't even like pumpkins.
I do want to bring up a funny point, and I don't know if I should save this for the end or just talk about this now. But did y'all watch the video of the Tennessee locker room after they beat Auburn?
No.
Okay. So Tennessee apparently has a song, We Don't Give a DAMN, about Alabama when they beat a team from the state of Alabama. Where is their head coach from?
Alabama.
Born and raised in North Alabama. And Jeremy Pruitt, if you watch the video, he's just sitting there looking at him like, really, guys?
Hey, he signed up for it, man.
You know where I'm from?
That's like Butch Jones sitting on the sideline in crimson gear, man. It's just.
Oh, he can't be on the sideline, remember?
He was on the side. He was.
Was he really?
I saw him during the game on Saturday.
Ben, I didn't think so. I thought as an offensive assistant, he can't be involved in play call.
As an analyst, I think he's supposed to be in the booth, right?
Yeah, I thought so. Without headsets.
Well, let's not talk about that anymore so we don't get anybody in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, something we will talk about, though, is our great sponsors over there at Roosport. Adam, you missed a week of talking about them, so why don't you lead us off in this conversation about Roosport?
Who is that? I missed a whole week up. I'm out of my rhythm. Sorry. Can you guys get me back into my rhythm? No, yeah, actually, it's funny. Blair, she ran a 5K or walked a 5K with Aiden. Aiden did his first 5K this past weekend with her over in Celebration, which is a suburb of the Orlando area. You've probably heard Dave mention a few times. And she actually used one of my Roo Sports and is sold on it now enough to where she's going to get one. So when we train for the Princess Half, when we sign up, that will be good for that.
You haven't signed up yet?
I just wanted to see the look on your face. So anyway, with Roo Sport, though,
wait, hold on.
she had to take her phone and her normal stuff, but then even a couple of things for him too, and it was able to hold all of it. So she was carrying for two, and the Roo Sport turned out to be exactly what she needed for that. So we've got a whole family thing going now.
Did you say that Blair was carrying for two?
No, her and Aiden. Not eating for two or sleeping for two. Aiden was at the race with her.
Well, that's awesome. And was Aiden impressed? Did he want to get his own Roo Sport pouch too?
He likes playing with the magnets. He doesn't really understand the whole benefit of it yet. But
I tell you, it is cool. I'm next week is when we got to start training for that Princess, and I dusted mine off, and I went out on a nice little stroll on Saturday myself, and dusted it off, and wore my nice new iPhone XS Max, the nice big one, but it fit in the Roo Sport Plus, and I was a little worried about it, but it did fit in there, and I tell you, I didn't feel it. It was nice and seamless. It's a great product, and they've got more stuff than just those pouches on the website. They've got those power banks, and they've got the Roo Lounger, which I've broke out 3 or 4 times, and it is the most comfortable thing to sit on. I need to get y'all a picture to put it on the Instagram.
You owe us a video of how it is to open it up and get it inflated.
Well, it's been raining the last couple of days here, but I will maybe when Ben comes up here this weekend, before we head up to Knoxville, we can get a video of Ben opening up the Roo Lounger.
I want to get a photo of Dave in the Roo Lounger surrounded by Tennessee fans. That's what, just relaxed with his feet kicked up, maybe smoking a cigar. And
We might do that, the victory cigar pose.
Nothing screams luxury like a Rue Sport where you can recline in front of your enemies and laugh at them.
That is true. Ben, did you take yours up to Austin? Did you see anybody wearing that Rue Sport pouch?
I actually failed to pack my Rue Sport, which is completely on me, because it would have come in handy so much. Because when you're out at a music festival, you've always are like juggling things in your pockets. I had a phone charger, and I was like, oh no, I have left my Rue Sport, and it was devastating because the Rue Sport is perfect for that kind of situation. Not even when it's like an athletic activity, when you're just going to be outside for an extended period of time, you're going to be sitting on the grass, standing up and down throughout the day. You want to like not have things fall out of your pockets, and the Rue Sport is perfect for that because it takes care of your stuff and it keeps it right there on your hip.
It's very true. And they've got that code out there. If you want to go to their website, www.theruesport.com, use the code Sideline30 at checkout. All lowercase, Sideline, the number 30 at checkout. Rue Sport's going to give you 30% off your entire order. You can order one of everything, and you'd still get 30% off. They don't have to do that, but they love us so much that they gave our fans 30% off their entire product line. So go to their website, www.theruesport.com. Check them out. Use the promo code Sideline30. Get you 30% off. Tell them we sent you. You'll love it. Something else that we want to talk about, and we're going to probably spend some time on this because this is probably a controversial topic. Not that we get bogged down in topics, because we never do that. Never. We're recording on a Tuesday night. Came out this afternoon that Ohio State defensive end Nick Bosa is leaving school mid-season to nurse his injury and prepare for the NFL draft. First off, let's look at this as an NFL GM point, and then we're going to look at it as a team point. Let's play NFL GM here. You're looking at a kid who, yes, he got injured his 2 or 3 games into his junior year, and it's not a small injury. I think it's I'm trying to find. He injured his core muscle, so I guess that's his stomach.
His sports hernia, yeah.
Okay, sports hernia. So that's not an easy one to come back from, but he made a goal to come up with his Ohio State team and win a championship. So he's quit on his team basically to focus on himself, to focus on his current career or his future career. Let's put on your NFL GM hat here. Say you have somebody like him, but you also have somebody like, let's just throw it back to Jonathan Allen, who came back for his senior year to do more at Alabama than he had already done. He was already going to come out and be a top 5 pick, but he came back and padded his stats more and got another championship with his team in Alabama. If you're an NFL GM, do you look at Bosa as a guy who quits and maybe pass on him in the first round? Or do you look at him as, man, this guy is future driven and I'd like him on my team?
I'm okay with all of this for several reasons. One, especially from a GM standpoint, Bosa has a pedigree. His dad played in the NFL. His brother plays in the NFL. So you can look and say, this guy knows what's at stake, and he also is getting advice from people that have been in the league. And that's very different than a guy that's, has no family, no friends that have been in the NFL. And you look at this guy and you go, all right, he's getting good counsel from somebody. And as a GM, you're saying this guy's just trying to be healthy so he looks good for the draft. A general manager should be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the rest of the season, right? I mean, assuming that this just happened and he had been playing with aggravated at worst, which could be the case. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you see when you look up this kind of injury, it's several weeks of rest and conservative treatment or surgery. And if it's surgery, I mean, you're going to be out for a good while before you're going to be able to do contact. There are only 5 games left in the regular season. Let's assume they have 2 more if they made it all the way. He would miss the rest of the regular season, maybe except the Michigan game. And then to your point, I mean, the team's gotten on for several weeks now. You're kind of out of your rhythm. You got to get back into it. He was already expected to forego his last year and enter the draft. I think given how long it takes to come back from this, I think it's logical. And I think it's almost like the decision was made for him by the type of injury it was. If it was something like, a knee sprain where he could be back in a week and he's like, what, it's just not worth it. It's not just worth it to try, and I am going to quit. But he could have worked to come back in just a week or two. I think then you have to worry about the quitter label. But I think given that this could be a bad enough injury where it could require surgery, that puts you several weeks out. You're probably missing the rest of the regular season anyway. And then you're going to go ahead and start focusing on your future. It could be end up based off the medical, information. It could end up being a more mature decision than trying to say, no, I'm going to come back from the Michigan game. And then you're showing that you're just driven by the short term, which could hurt him. So I think this could help him in the long run in terms of a GM standpoint. And I think that the timing just made it a decision that the injury made the decision for him, not one he's making by himself.
Well, if it's the case of him saying, well, this injury is going to keep me out, then why make such a big deal about this? Why not say, yeah, this injury has kept me out? And then, keep it quiet between yourself and Urban Meyer. Don't make it a huge news story.
So just cover it up? Sorry.
Well,
you said Urban Meyer and keep it quiet.
Okay. I understand. Yeah, don't make it a huge news story. Just say, you know what, Coach, my injury is probably going to keep me out for the rest of the year, and then I'm done.
Here's why you make it a huge news story. Because we're talking about it.
Very true. Very true.
And we're not the only ones talking about it. It's going to be a thing that eats up your talk shows on ESPN and Fox Sports. It's going to eat up the talk radio because they're going to be debating all these things. And there is no such thing as bad publicity. If there's anything that the American political spectrum has taught you in the past few months, there is no such thing as bad publicity. And Bosa has now gotten his name out there where the conversation is going to be, oh, well, he's definitely an NFL caliber linebacker. And that's going to be the conversation. The question will then be whether or not it's appropriate for him to leave the team at this point in time as he's getting ready for the NFL draft. And all that really does is anchor everyone's mind that, yes, this guy belongs in the NFL draft. So it's brilliant. That's what he's doing. He has set everyone's mind to thinking about him as an NFL player, which he probably is. But now there's even less doubt about it because everybody's talking about him in terms of the draft. And nobody would be talking about him in terms of the draft. Right this week, they'd be saying, oh, Bosa's injured. And then he becomes a forgotten item. So it is actually in his interest to make a news story about it and say he's focusing on the draft, because otherwise you start all these rumors. Oh, well, that's a career-ending injury he's got. The injury's more severe. Maybe they found something else out. So this actually nips a lot of the rumors in the bud and gives Bosa control of the story.
And I'll ask too. I'll admit I'm a little naive to the answer, so I'm going to ask the two dudes. Right? Does this also open him up then and give him more options of how to even handle entering the draft? Like if he's not playing collegiate athletics now and he's said I'm fully stepping off the team, can he go ahead and hire somebody and get in with someone that can help him start thinking about how to position himself and things that maybe a player wouldn't be able to hire someone? So it may even give him some advantages outside of that, right?
Yeah, it would. If he completely falls off the team and doesn't play, there is no NCAA regulation against him hiring an agent because Ohio State will not be playing him. So he could theoretically go in and hire an agent. Now, he can't go in and enter the supplemental draft in a couple of weeks.
Yes,
But he could, for the draft in late April, early May, he could go ahead and have his agent start positioning teams. Now, I don't think teams can talk to him yet, but his agent could theoretically say, hey, here's this guy.
On his behalf.
On his behalf, right.
Yeah.
Hey, think about this. I think he could probably also sign a sponsorship deal at that point.
I believe you're right. But
how
what
about
sponsor
this?
would do that yet?
Well, somebody that wants to say that the reason why he healed his core was because he used their product.
There you go.
I got into NFL draft shape thanks to muscle milk or whatever. If I had a core injury, my muscles were torn, and what helped heal me was drinking muscle milk. And that's a really good story. Watch my progress. Watch me train. Watch me get ready for the NFL draft at musclemilk.com or whatever.
That's something I didn't think about. Good.
Wow. Yeah.
Good job by you.
He can create all kinds of viral videos with sponsorships based on his recovery and his training, and there will be people that'll watch it. There will be Ohio State fans that'll watch it. There will be critics that will watch it, and there will be plenty of people that watch how he trains and how he prepares. And so if he has the ability to go ahead and get sponsors and get some of that money, why not? Why not go ahead and scoop that up?
Well, let's take it to this level. I guess the reason that this thought is on my mind is because of what Alabama's gone through or went through for the first 5 weeks of the season. And then what we saw Clemson go through with the Kelly Bryant situation. Let's look at it as a teammate situation. Adam, you brought the point where this could be possible. He could come back for the Michigan game. Let's take it to the next step. Let's say the only game he can come back for, the only 2 games he can come back for are the 2 playoff games. Let's say Ohio State gets through the first round, and then it's Alabama versus Ohio State in the championship game. Nick Bosa could theoretically come back and play, and his teammates would want him to play. If you are a teammate of Nick Bosa, has he quit the team?
I mean, knowing more about the severity of it and all that, and knowing that he's probably been pretty open with a lot of these guys, no. I mean, this is something that takes months to do right. And I think if he goes into the locker room and he tells his closest teammates or the whole team and do a speech, do a Tim Tebow thing and make a promise, I don't know. But if you go in there and you say to your team, look, guys, it's going to be 2-3 months before I'm back. I would barely just make it back. And even then, if it ruptures again, my career's over. And I love you guys and all this stuff, and, all this team kind of talk. I mean, he could have presented in a way where I think he could diffuse any of that. Because if it is something where he's coming back just in time for that, and one wrong move means, I can't be drafted now for another year or two. Now he's, stepping away from something completely different. I think he could present it to them in a way where I, as a teammate, would say, okay, I totally understand your decision. Now, does he owe me that? I don't think so. But I don't know that we would agree on that, Dave. I don't think he owes anybody an explanation.
I think he owes. I think
he can present it in a way where, given if it is really this type of injury, the length of time that it takes before you would even consider surgery puts it out of the realm of possibility that he come back except for that last game. And then it's so quickly that he may not even be fully healed, and then he's putting his future at risk. So I think it could be a story where the team's fine with it.
I think one key element of the story that we're not thinking about is the fact that Bosa plays for Ohio State. And we should be applauding any young man that wants to get out from Urban Meyer as fast as he can. And in that way, we should recognize that Bosa is heroic. And he is clearly bettering his life because he doesn't have to listen to Urban Meyer anymore. So we should applaud this young man, and we should support him in what he's doing.
I can't.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that. Wow. All right. So there's our that's the best point to end this on.
That's the best argument.
Yeah, Ben, bring the picks, man.
Bring the picks. All right, let's go ahead and get straight to it. Top 25 matchups. Hey, there's an undefeated team. Dave?
Adam, let's roll the leaderboard real quick.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, okay, hang on.
Hear this on air.
Ben has 106 correct picks. I have 108.
Boom.
Dave has 111.
So I've got 111. You've got how many?
108.
So I stretched my lead this week.
Yeah.
It was just 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so y'all.
Only because of who was it? Who do I have to blame? LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one more. I can't remember who it was. Colorado. Only because of those.
Dave, I just want to say that.
Thanks, Coach O.
I just want to say, Dave, that you were so far ahead, and I'm just worried about your knee. So maybe you ought to lay out of the picks this week and not pick, because Adam and I can do all the picks and be just fine. we've got it covered. So you could take a week off and it'll be fine. It won't affect your rhythm. It won't affect your performance for a championship or anything like that. So Dave, just take the week off.
It's not worth it, Dave.
No,
you could beat us with one arm tied behind your back.
I'm going to power through, and I'm going to do the picks this week. So, Ben.
And it was Oregon. Sorry, it was Oregon.
Yes, it was Oregon.
Friggin' frustrated me so bad. Anyway, take it away, Ben.
Okay, so now we're actually ready to pick. Notice how I want everyone who's listening to notice how Dave likes to do these reminders of the standings right before we pick when Dave's in the lead. Because in a couple of weeks, when Dave's not in the lead, I'm going to point out that he's not asking for us to announce the standings. So just keep that in mind, dear listener, that Dave's going to always announce the standings when he's in first place, and he's going to downplay the standings when he's not in first place.
And the points don't matter. They're just made up.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
If what I'm saying is, if one of our co-hosts is Auburn, it is Dave.
Oh!
Whoa! All right, let's get to these picks.
I don't lose the teams that haven't won in 2 years.
Hey, Dave, do you have a big TV somewhere in your house that has to show losses all the time, like a big Jumbotron maybe or something like that?
No,
okay. He's not Auburn. Don't worry about it.
Let's get to these picks. Hey, there's an undefeated team out there, the Cincinnati Bearcats. They're number 20 in the nation, and they're 6-0. They're traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Temple Owls. Do they remain undefeated?
Yeah, they do. Who else have they played? Cincinnati wins.
Who else have they played?
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, Cincinnati.
Wow. Okay, both of you guys are taking the Bearcats. I will make that a trifecta. All of us taking Cincinnati. All right, Maryland on the road at number 19, Iowa. Who do you guys like here?
I go with the Cyclones.
The Cyclones are not playing in this game.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's Iowa State. Dude, I'm tired. I got to go with Iowa.
I got to go with the Hawkeyes.
Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I'm Maryland surprised me a couple of times this year so far, but I'm gonna go with Iowa just so Dave doesn't lengthen his lead if he's right.
Yeah, I'm scared now.
I'm gonna take Iowa at home. All right, a top 25 matchup between number 6 Michigan on the road versus number 24 Michigan State. I think the only reason Michigan State is ranked in the top 25 is just for this game, so they can claim it as a top 25 matchup.
Yep.
Who do you guys like here?
Well, remember, they did beat Penn State last week. This isn't going to be a typical rivalry game. Michigan takes this one in a blowout.
I don't know about blowout, but I'm going to go with Michigan.
I think this game's going to actually be pretty close until the end when Michigan pulls away in the fourth quarter. Illinois taking on number 23 Wisconsin. Wisconsin started the season looking like a good team, but now they're 4-2 and they're fading. Who do you guys like here?
Wisconsin gets back on the winning track and wins this one.
Yeah, still overrated, but I think they're going to beat Illinois.
I think I'll go with Wisconsin as well. Number 9, Oklahoma on the road at TCU. Has Oklahoma fixed some of their problems like shoddy defense?
No, they haven't. This game will be a blowout. Not a blowout. This game will be a shootout, but Oklahoma wins.
I'm tempted to break from the pack a little bit on this one, but I'm going to go with Oklahoma. Had the spread been a little closer, I would have said TCU, but I'll go with Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is bigger and better than TCU. TCU can give them a game, but the Sooners are going to come out with the win.
So am I the only one that paused on that one?
Yes.
You guys are that? Okay. All right.
Number 16, NC State takes on number 3 Clemson. What do you guys like for this game? Both teams are undefeated, by the way.
Yeah, I really want to take NC State here, but I think that NC State hasn't been tested. Clemson has. I'm going to take Clemson in a squeaker.
Yeah, NC State would not be undefeated if their game with West Virginia hadn't been canceled. I'm going to go with Clemson.
I too am very tempted to pick the upset here, but I am going to wise up and take Clemson at home. Number 18, Penn State, 4-2 on the season, travels to Bloomington to take on the Indiana Hoosiers, who are 4-3. Who do you guys take for this game?
Penn State got smacked in the mouth last week by Michigan State. James Franklin will probably look to come back and win this one pretty harshly. I got Penn State.
Yeah, I agree. Penn State all the way.
Yeah, got to take Penn State. They're a great team. They're just not elite. They're not elite. They're not elite, but they're a great team. They're just not elite. So I'll take Penn State. Colorado and Washington both have picked up some less than flattering losses in recent weeks, but only one team is ranked. That's Washington. They're number 15 in the land. Colorado's on the road taking on the Huskies. Who do you guys like in this game?
The Huskies get back on the winning track here. I got Washington winning this one. Colorado was just a paper undefeated champ.
Kind of like UCF. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Washington on this one too.
I'm interested in picking Colorado, but I'm not persuaded. I can't do it. So I'm gonna go with Washington at home, back on track. Number 10, UCF, undefeated on the season, the reigning co-national champions, will be on the road versus East Carolina, who are 2-4. Surely UCF stays undefeated, right, guys?
Yeah, they stay undefeated till they face undefeated South Florida or undefeated Cincinnati.
Yeah, UCF. They only beat Memphis because of a garbage holding call that called back a touchdown. But, yeah, they're going to win again. Play some real teams next year.
I got to ask you, Adam, how was the talk around the water cooler this week with Florida picking up some big wins finally and UCF struggle winning against Memphis?
What you find when you move to Florida is that everybody's from New York and nobody talks about college football.
Okay.
So the talk around the water cooler was Orlando City Soccer, Orlando Magic basketball. The Solar Bears started this week, that type of stuff. UCF only wants to talk when they're named national champions, not when they beat anybody, because nobody's actually watching the game.
Okay.
So there you go.
Sidebar, Solar Bears?
Yeah, the Solar Bears.
What are they?
A minor league hockey team here in Orlando.
Got it. Okay.
Seems like that would melt the ice. But anyway, I will also take UCF to remain undefeated. Speaking of undefeated teams and of the caliber of UCF, number 21, South Florida, is hosting Connecticut, who's 1-5. Surely South Florida will remain undefeated as well, right?
Hey, South Florida has a great quarterback starting for them. So I got South Florida winning.
They have a good quarterback. Yeah, South Florida. I mean, This is they're setting up UCF versus USF to be the war on I-4 big multi-playoff game that's going to decide who will be the first out of the playoff. Yeah, whoever wins that game at the end of the year will still remain undefeated and still not be in the playoffs. So, South Florida. Sorry, I went on a little rant. Ben, please, your pick.
Just a little bit. So, sounds like somebody lives in Orlando. Two words for you: Solar Bears. I will also take South Florida to win the game. Number 2, Ohio State, undefeated on the season. Number 2, now that Georgia is no longer number 2, they are on the road at Purdue, who are 3-3. Who do you guys like in this game?
Ohio State.
Like I said about UCF, play somebody real, man. Ohio State.
I shall make it unanimous for Ohio State. All right, we got a Pac-12 matchup. Number 12, Oregon, fresh off of a win over Washington, taking on number 25, Washington State. Both teams are 5-1. Who do you guys like in this top 25 matchup?
Dance with what brung you. Mario Cristobal, Oregon. Quack, quack, quack.
Oregon wins the Washington State Championship by beating both big teams out of the state, so Oregon.
If that happens, does Oregon get to annex like the state of Washington?
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
No one cares about the Pacific Northwest anyway.
This game's at night. and it's in Pullman. I'm going to pick the upset. Upset special. Washington State at home gets the win over Oregon. There's your upset special.
And my boss's boss is in Seattle. We very much care about the Pacific Northwest. We love you.
Got it.
Just in case you're listening. Next.
All right, let's move on to some SEC matchups. In a game that absolutely nobody cares about. Tulsa, 1-5 on the season, takes on Arkansas, 1-6 on the season. Which of these teams will get their second win of the year?
It's at Arkansas?
It's at Arkansas.
Yeah, for craps and giggles. Come on, Tulsa.
Oh. Shocking. Arkansas, please.
Where was Arkansas's coach previously?
Chad Morris. I think wasn't he somewhere? I think it was SMU.
Okay, I was thinking he was at Tulsa at some point. Am I?
No, I'm not sure.
I thought that would make it more interesting, but perhaps I'm just inventing that. I will take Arkansas just because they've shown flickers of life on the season, and I think Chad Morris was at Tulsa. He was there as an associate head coach and an offensive coordinator.
Okay.
But he wasn't the head coach there. So
keep in mind, Arkansas's quarterback went down last week, and he might not be playing this week.
Oh, come on. Any quarterback worth his salt can play through an injury.
Adam's already got his pick on the table. So, Ben, you're taking Arkansas?
I'm taking Arkansas at home. They've got the athletes. All right.
I'm taking Arkansas and then just wondering why they make better personnel decisions than we do if they leave their quarterback out of this game.
Mm-hmm. Auburn, 4-3 on the season. On the road at Ole Miss, 5-2 on the season. If you'd told me at the time going into this game Ole Miss would have the better record, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. Who wins this game?
Auburn doesn't win another SEC game this year. Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm actually really going to be rooting for Ole Miss. Personal ties and the fact that I just want to see Auburn completely go down in flames this year, so I'm picking Ole Miss too.
It would be almost any Bama fan's dream to have Auburn continue their losing ways and go to 500 on the season, but I think Auburn is going to get back on track in a way that they will avoid some unforced errors, and they will be able to handle Ole Miss, even though this game is at Ole Miss. So I'm going to take Auburn on the road. I'm differing from you guys. So I'm either gaining ground on you, Dave, or we're getting even more separation. But I'm going to take Auburn on the road to get their 5th win of the season. All right, Memphis, coming off of a close game against reigning national champion UCF, will now be taking on Missouri, who is 3-3 on the season after a loss to Alabama. So both teams are coming off of games. Both teams are named Tigers, and both teams are coming off of games against last year's national champion.
Wow.
Who wins this matchup?
Missouri wins in a rout and proves to everybody who the real national champions were.
I don't know, Dave. Memphis hung 30 on UCF. It's a tough conference they play in. Yeah, I agree, Mizzou.
I will have to go with Mizzou here as well. I do think Memphis might be able to give them a game, though, but I will take Missouri over the course of 4 quarters. All right, how about Vandy at number 14, Kentucky? Vandy has a losing record on the season. Kentucky's 5-1, and they're positioning themselves for a shot at the SEC East title. Never thought we'd be saying that at this point in the season. Who do you guys like in this game?
It's Kentucky versus Vandy. Normally we'd say who cares, but Kentucky wins this one, and it won't even be close. And let's just sidebar for this for a second. Florida wins out, Kentucky wins out. That means that both Florida and Kentucky have to beat Georgia. Florida wins out, Kentucky wins out. Kentucky holds the tiebreaker.
Wow.
It's hard.
Who would have thunk it?
It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine Georgia dropping both of those games, though.
But still, it could happen.
It could. Anything is possible. That's why we watch them.
Any given Saturday. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but not this game. Kentucky. Yeah, they're gonna continue, but tough road ahead.
Yep.
I will pick Benny and the Cats. Benny, Benny and the Cats.
I wish I could
Benny and the
mute him
Cats.
and not just me.
Dave, you're a tenor, right?
No, I'm a bass.
Oh, that's why you didn't join in. You could go,
Yeah.
Benny. Come on, give him some
Benny.
support. There you go.
There you
See?
go. All right, come
There
on.
we go. I like it. All right, so that's my pick there. How about a ranked matchup between number 22 Mississippi State and number 5 LSU? This is another game in Death Valley. Who do you guys like for this one?
If this was at Davis Wade Stadium, I would take Mississippi State here. But no, Mississippi State can't win at Death Valley. I got LSU winning a close one.
Yeah. This one gives me pause. I'm going to say LSU, but I would not be surprised at all if Mississippi State won, because this is the game where LSU either comes out and puts the stake in the ground to say that they are for real, or they get exposed.
Yeah.
But I'm picking LSU.
Keep in mind the LSU fans start chanting, "We want Bama" at the end of the game. You know what happens when teams.
Well, they're
start
going to get
chanting
them,
that.
guaranteed.
Right.
I mean, it's not like UCF where they can keep praying, but they're guaranteed to get us soon.
Right.
Benjamin?
He's thinking.
He is.
I'm not thinking about an upset. I'm just thinking about how much LSU is going to beat Mississippi State. LSU has got their confidence up. They seem to be healthy. I don't think there's too many health concerns on the team. They are playing really great defense, and that is going to be able to contain Mississippi State. The advantage is completely to the home team. It's a 6 o'clock kickoff. It's essentially a night game. Everything is coming up LSU. So I'm going to pick the Tigers over the Bulldogs. All right, one game left to pick. That's Alabama, 7-0 on the season, on the road against Tennessee. It's hate week, folks. Guys, I need a score prediction and a winner.
I'll tell you what, this one's going to be tough. We're coming in with our quarterback hurt. Probably won't even play him. I can't even say that with a straight face. 63-0.
Wow.
Jeez, Dave.
Nothing Tennessee has showed me makes me think that this is going to be a close game. Ben, you and I will get to walk down the field level by the end of the first quarter.
That would be fun.
The Sea of Orange will part by halftime.
Can I give a if Jalen starts score and an if Tua starts score? Or do I just have to okay, all right. No, I think absolutely Alabama's going to be the pick. I think it's going to be 49-17.
We don't score 50?
No. We play more conservative to keep Tua healthy, even though he is going to start. But we score enough to where our second and third string come in at a point where Tennessee actually puts some points on the board.
Okay.
So, see, I have sound logic.
You every now and then you do.
Ben?
I think there's several things that factor in. One is that Saban likes to put his former assistants in their place, but he also likes to not show them up too badly. And also, Saban usually doesn't cover the spread in that type of game. So even though Alabama has trounced Tennessee previously, I could see Alabama actually kind of inadvertently letting their foot off the gas for a game like this, knowing they've got it in the bag, knowing they're going into a bye week. So I'm actually going to take it with a close score. I don't think the game's going to be close. I just think the score is going to be close because Tennessee is going to play 4 quarters and Alabama's not going to play 4 quarters this week. So I'm going to take Alabama winning 45-20.
Ooh,
man.
That's way too close. All right. So this is normally where we'd say, you've heard our picks, you've heard our sports talk, now it's time to bring the sideline warnings. Well, we're going to do things different this week. Y'all, this is hate week. This is hashtag Tennessee hate week. So we're going to go through and we're going to do our favorite, probably 4 or 5 each of us, our favorite hashtag Tennessee hate weeks. From Twitter, you can make up your own, whatever you want to do. Let's bring some hate weeks. Ben?
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I have an ironic one that's actually about tweeting. So it's a tweet about tweeting. No Tennessee fan has ever been able to send a tweet about Alabama losing to Tennessee.
That's impressive. The last time Alabama lost to Tennessee was 2006.
Yep.
Mike Shula's last year. So, yeah, Twitter came out in late 2006. There you go. Ben?
There you go.
It has been said that Neyland Stadium looks very much like a garbage truck workers convention. And I just want to say that while that is often repeated on Tennessee Hate Week, it is not fair to sanitation workers. Those people go out there and do a great job. They go collect our trash. They help keep us safe and healthy because they collect our trash. Other places in the world where you have your trash not getting collected, there's disease, there's contagion. Sanitation workers are a critical part of our society, and they deserve much better than being compared to Tennessee fans.
I like it.
Wow.
Here's mine. This is going to be short and sweet. Guys, seriously, our football team's intern used to be Tennessee's head coach. Let that sink in for a second.
But is it a paid internship?
$30,000. I think he's making $30,000 this year. A guy who's not even coaching a position used to be making the decisions for the University of Tennessee football team.
That's so funny. How about Tennessee? The only 10 I see is the amount of rushing yards Alabama allows this weekend.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Ben?
Guys, I'm not a dog person. Seriously, I do like dogs. I am just not convinced that Tennessee's mascot is even any sort of actual like hound. I think they just found a mutt and they threw him out there. There's some great mutts out there, but this poor dog has been forced to wear orange colors. I think it should be reported for animal abuse what the Tennessee fans are doing, making that dog wear those ugly orange colors and have to be forced to act like he likes Tennessee. Because we know even the dog's not pulling for the Volunteers.
Yep. I'm going to throw some factoids out. It's been 4,378 days, 4 athletic directors, and 7 head coaches since Tennessee beat Alabama.
Holy cow. The last time Tennessee beat Alabama, Robert Downey Jr. was best known as that guy from Weird Science.
Oh, I like that one.
Another reason to hate Tennessee is because how much they ruin great children's television. This time of year, October, as the weather's starting to change, it is great to put on something like the Peanuts cartoon, where you hear the Peanuts characters exclaim, "It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown." And that should be something that everyone enjoys. But every time I hear someone yell, "It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown," I go, "Where's Philip Fulmer?" And it's ruined a children's show for me. There we go.
I got 2 for you. I'm going to do 2 back to back. You ready for this? They're short ones. The last time Tennessee beat Alabama, the most popular selling cell phone in the world was the Motorola Razr.
Wow.
And then this one is going to be a little racy, but not too bad. The last time Tennessee beat Alabama, Miley Cyrus was still a virgin. I went there.
It just gives me the creeps.
Yeah, I went there. She was still a Disney character.
Wow. This one has a picture of the emoji keyboard and the cupcake is circled, and it said, "How cool of Apple to include a Tennessee football emoji in their new iOS update." And then there's another one that says, "Some people hate Hillary, some people hate Trump, but we all hate Tennessee."
I like it.
There you go.
Ben?
One more reason to hate Tennessee, Bruce Pearl.
He's fat. All right. So I'm going to do this quote, and then we're going to do one more round each. This is mine. Well, Eli, Smokey just came out of the tunnel. He's about 100 yards away from me now. And if I had my deer rifle, I believe I can drop him. Back to you, Eli. Quote from the one Jerry Duncan.
Hey, Dave, what was yours? I want you to get full credit for it. You posted one about Tua.
Yep. Okay. The last time Tennessee beat Alabama, Alabama's sophomore quarterback, 20-year-old Tua Tagovailoa, was in third grade.
Which my son is now, who wasn't even born the last time that Tennessee beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My wife and I were actually married in 2006, April. So it almost, if it wasn't for that 1 year, we will have been married longer than that streak, but not quite. Anybody have another good one to wrap us up?
Yeah, no, I got one more, but Ben, bring your last one.
Yeah, man.
My last thing is just a simple criticism. Tennessee has like one of the worst stadium public address announcers ever. And Dave, you'll get to experience this on Saturday. He is notorious for just reading whatever he thinks is on the paper and mispronouncing names. One of the all-time favorites is calling Charlie Pepra Charlie Peeperoo. And it is amazing how this guy can mispronounce all sorts of names and be completely unprepared to do his job. So just Bama fans, he's not trying to disrespect you. He just can't help it. He can't read. He is a Tennessee fan. So that is just one more thing I have to point out for Tennessee Hate Week.
All right, I'm going to do my last one, and then I will play the ultimate Tennessee Hate Week video, but you'll hear the
audio.
You'll hear the audio. My last one is just a shout out to the greatest bar in Tuscaloosa. We all know that the best-selling whiskey in the world is Jack Daniel's. Well, Galette's takes it one step further. The week of the Tennessee game, Galette's refuses to sell Jack Daniels. They take it off their shelf. So my hat tips to you, Galette's. Pour me a Yellowhammer, because you, sir, are the true hater of Tennessee. And really, if you want to get a Tennessee fan triggered, tell them Kentucky bourbon's better than Tennessee bourbon. But now, let me play you. Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it is.
Yeah, I know. Really?
It's undisputed.
Let me play you the ultimate Tennessee Hate Week video.
Man, just say what you've been saying, man. Why do you hate Tennessee?
Man, I hate Tennessee because, first of all, it's Tennessee. And I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches. And I hate Philip Fulmer. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, and I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention. And I hate all their quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man.
Describe what you feel about their colors, too. I thought that was interesting.
It reminds me, and it's not that orange that you can stand. See, I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors is that throw-up orange. It's not that orange that you can sit with. It's that puke inside of a pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough, man. And they losers. They sore losers because they're not Alabama. And I hate Tennessee, man.
That was beautiful, man.
So let's give credit where credit's due. Nick Adam is the reporter for that. Ben and I went to school with Nick Adam at the communications department there in Alabama, and congratulations. That is a perfect viral video.
I will never forget the first time Nick showed me that video. We were sitting at the radio station at UA, and he goes, "Guys, you got to see this interview I got." And plays it on one of the computers for us, and we were just dumbfounded. We were like, "How is that real?" And we never dreamed that it would become what it has become. So that's an amazing thing.
It's become the flagship for Tennessee Hate Week. But guys, as always, if you want to get a hold of the show, We play the call every week. If we have a call on our Blitz line, Adam, how do they get a hold of the show?
931-44 Blitz. And again, I want to harken back to the beginning of the show, especially if you've got something you want to say about Dave, ask Dave a question, get his opinion on something, call him out, anything you want to do. Or if you just have a hot sports take or you have a question for us you want us to answer, we'll talk about that too, I guess. But specifically, if you have something about Dave, that's what we're shooting for this week. So
if you want to say how great the golden voice of the Southeast is, 931-44 Blitz. 931-44 Blitz. We might get 3 or 4 calls saying how great the golden voice of the Southeast is.
And what is the alternative number, Dave, if they want to say something bad about the golden voice of the Southeast? 931.
Yeah, 931-4627 9er 12.
4. 9.
Also, if you want to get a hold of the show, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at SW The Show. I am at DAdams419. Ben is at the Ben Foster. Adam is at Run Tide Run, and he is tweeting a lot lately, ladies and gentlemen. We've created a monster.
I'm not to the president level yet, but I'm working on it.
You're about to be huge.
Huge.
But anyway, also find us on Facebook. We're at www.facebook.com/SW The Show. Also find the Facebook fan group, Sideline Warning Facebook fan group. Just search that. Find us on Instagram. We're also at SW The Show. But guys, we say it every week and we truly mean it. We love you. We will see you next week. Roll Tide. And have you hated Tennessee today? Because I sure have.
I'm still mad at you, by the way, Ben.
What did I do?
Alabama's the worst band ever. After I was sitting here listening to your stuff, still mad at you, big loser.
Spend my dollar parked in a holler neath mountain moonlight.
Roll
So
Tide.
you never answered my question, Dave.
Okay.
If you're parked in a holler, I understand spending your dollar on beer, but if you're parked in a holler, what wall are you holding her up against?
The truck wall.
Nobody ever says the truck wall. Nobody ever says, oh, that truck has a wall. It's crass and it doesn't make sense. That's the next thing to go. I'm going to get it banned again because of that. How about that? It doesn't make sense.
I always assumed that it was kind of like a postmodern storytelling where it's cutting back and forth to different parts of the night. So he spent his dollar on beer. You can't spend your dollar on beer in a holler either. So he spent his dollar on beer at a bar where they sell beer, and he first kissed the girl holding her up against the wall, and then she said, "Hey, this is pretty cool. I'm going to ride with you in your truck over to that holler."
I like it.
Yeah, you know what? I'd actually follow. Okay, yeah, crap.
It almost makes sense, doesn't it?
So it's like the This Is Us of country songs. It's like multiple timelines meshing together into
There
one.
you go.
Got it.
See?
Exactly.
In 1983, Randy Owen was just a genius of songwriting.
So that makes Alabama the best
Country
because
band
of
of all
their
time.
complexity of their music. Got it. Okay.
That will not be a no. No. Ben, that one cannot be there.
The last time Tennessee beat Alabama, I was out of college for 4 years. That's how old I am.
MySpace was still the preferred social media site. Bush was still president.
So the last time was when the fall of 2006.
All of October 2006.
I'm trying to think what I was doing in 2006. I mean, that would have been my sophomore year at Alabama.
I wasn't back at Alabama yet.
Yeah, last time Tennessee beat Alabama, I didn't know Dave.